behalf of ASHRM board, again, welcome you to the second day of the conference. I hope that you had a very enjoyable, fruitful, rewarding day yesterday, where we've been honored with key figures, the keynote speakers, along with the other sessions. Today, as a continuation, we have another two key figures in the region. They're going to share with us their views of the current challenges before we open it towards the end with the questions and answers. Our first keynote speaker, Mr. Farouk Al-Zinki. Mr. Farouk is a well-known person who has a great passion when it comes to HR, a great supportive to the people around him, to the organization that he worked on. And we've been lucky as ASHRM to be one of those organizations where we came across him, we shared with him our vision to be an Arab ban, we shared with him our strategic objectives, what we are aiming as a board during our term, what we'd like to deliver. And from day one, he said that consider that the KBCs, you have a full access to them. And we've been honored to participate with them in two HR forums. Mr. Farouk Al-Zinki, he is a graduate of University of Oklahoma, Bachelor of Science in Petroleum Engineering. And he also had a master's degree in Petroleum Engineering from the SAIR University. His current position is the Vice Chairman and CEO of Kuwait Petroleum Corporation. He's very active, and I was looking at the membership of how many boards that he is, and currently it becomes endless. I need a couple pages probably. But just to say a couple of them, he is an SB board member. He is in Kuwait Industrial Authority board member, IBTC, and also was chairman of a couple of the mega conferences of SB like the MAYOS. Mr. Farouk, we truly appreciate and thank you for being with us today and honoring us with your attendance. The floor is yours. Yes.
Thank you, Ahmed, for this nice introduction. Good morning, everybody. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be participating in ASHRM's 11th annual forum, and would like to thank the ASHRM's team for their excellent organization of the forum and keeping the important topic of HR in the forefront of people's mind. I'm particularly excited to be here this year because the title of this year's forum, Economic Growth Through HR, which places a very strategic focus on HR, is something that is very close to my heart. I am a firm believer that only through the right HR strategies can we achieve success and, more importantly, long-term sustainability. A recent report by the World Economic Forum pointed that the talent crisis will affect every region of the world, and the skills shortage in some critical disciplines of our industry will redefine human capital practices for a long time to come. The challenges that are being put forth by the businesses and environment can only be addressed through having a strong and capable workforce with exceptional talent and leadership capabilities. Moreover, it is imperative to have this workforce with the right skills and training at the right time to provide continuity, sustainability, and achieve the aspired economic growth. There is no doubt in my mind that the required workforce can be acquired and the talent gap filled with the support of an enlightened HR professional team and the infrastructure that ensures alignment, smooth operations, and a healthy work environment. From a business point of view, the unrest in the Middle East and North Africa region has kept oil prices consistently elevated. Average price for Brent this year has generally been above the $100 per barrel mark. While the soaring crude oil prices on one hand pose a serious threat to the global economic recovery, on the other hand, industry projections show that the world's need for more energy will expand in the future, and fossil fuels will continue to be the dominant source of energy for the foreseeable future. This has put significant pressure on national oil companies in the region that have been called upon to prevent any supply disruption, thus rendering them as major players for the development of the world oil industry, and are now set to define the future of global crude oil supply. In this regard, Kuwait Petroleum Corporation, as a national oil company, needs to have an edge over industry players in the future by enhancing its ability to meet its expected domestic and international demands. This can only be achieved by focusing on optimization and streamlining policies to mobilize KPC's own resources to promote the value chain in all KPC operations. And as I see it, ladies and gentlemen, efficiently and commercially driven operations will be the essential ingredients for better performance of Kuwait Petroleum Corporation. We have recently completed our long-term strategy that extends to 2030, with the main feature of our strategy being enhancement of our production capabilities to reach 4 million barrels per day by year 2020. Also, among the themes that emerge from the strategy is the essentiality of partnering with international oil companies, service companies, and research institutions, as well as meeting future growth in domestic gas demand through local gas development combined with imports. We are well aware of the challenges our ambitious strategy put forth. Despite that, we are confident of ensuring economic sustainability and prosperity of the state of Kuwait, and enhancing and strengthening KBC's future role in the economy, both national and international. Ladies and gentlemen, having spent the last few minutes talking to you about the ambitious strategy from a business point of view, I'd like to bring your focus back to ASHRM's topic of economic growth through HR. The main question that raises itself at this point of our strategic plan is, where does HR fit in the big picture, and what role is HR expected to play? Strategy implementation is fundamentally a human issue. HR has an organization-wide perspective and is pre-positioned to make an exceptionally valuable contribution when it comes to strategy implementation. The role that present-day HR is required to play is therefore way beyond the traditional HR, and they should position themselves where they are involved and generally understand the business in its entirety. When strategies change, organizations have to change. People are making those changes. And when organizations have to change, people are making these changes. Through my belief in this and the critical role HR will play in the success of our strategy in the years to come, we embarked on developing our HR 2030 strategy to support our business goals. An objective situation analysis of our organization revealed that there are a number of critical people-related challenges that are common across the majority of our subsidiaries and which will impact the implementation of our 20 strategic business plan. Our review also revealed that the HR functions in KPC and subsidiaries are not set up to effectively help the business in tackling future challenges and supporting the implementation of this strategy. It was clear to us that without an airtight HR strategy that is forward-looking, adaptable, and completely aligned with our corporate business strategy, we run the risk of jeopardizing our business and achievement of our long-term objectives. Without the help of HR, we will not be able to ensure employees' understanding of the strategy, nor guarantee their engagement. This was the trigger of our new HR vision, which is summarized in a brief statement: people excellence for success. Our renewed approach to HR was designed with great focus on the following three elements. First, HR service delivery, talent, and high performance. Through service delivery, we aspire to have an HR group that is competent, a knowledgeable business partner, and one that provides. The HR 2030 strategy that I am personally committed to drive and see it to fruition will focus on 12 very comprehensive initiatives focusing around the following themes. First, and developing existing and future talent and leaders. It is our responsibility to grow Kuwait's next generation of oil and gas talent and leaders. And it is only through a professional HR that we can make this happen. The challenge that HR is faced with today is that it is seen as the enabler to help business succeed through their role of nurturing and engaging people, and by providing them with the tools and support to enable outstanding performance. With our new HR strategy, we took the conscious decision to move from being a developing or basic HR to advanced HR, an HR function which develops and implements innovative and leading-edge solutions. It was essential to change the mindset from operations focus to people focus. The HR 2030 strategy that I am personally committed to drive and see it to fruition will focus on 12 very comprehensive initiatives focusing around the following themes. First, build the capability of our employees through an intensive development program and recruiting specialists in disciplines that required highly specialized expertise. Second, collaborate with specialized schools and universities, ensure an education to employment continuum, and also build the skills of KPC workforce through this collaboration. Third, to provide our people with the opportunities to develop the knowledge and skills needed to do their jobs. Fourth, to build KBC's capacity for analyzing the current and future demographic and workforce trends globally. And finally, to identify and retain our critical workforce segments. Having emphasized and elaborated in our HR 2030 strategy and the approach to its achievement, I would now like to move on to a special initiative which is personally close to my heart, and that is a concept we call Think K. For those of you who might not know, we refer to our sister companies within Kuwait oil sector as the K companies, hence the term Think K. While in the bigger scheme, Think K is actually more than that, as it underlines the role we play in ensuring economic sustainability and prosperity for the state of Kuwait. But the concept is based on building a one company, one vision, one language, culture within the Kuwait oil sector, creating optimum integration of our value chain based on deriving synergies across various subsidiaries of the oil sector, and ultimately delivering high shareholder value. The philosophy of Think K focuses on the promotion of 6 elements: promotion of best practice and knowledge sharing as a collective responsibility, share knowledge across the oil sector with peers and subordinates within and across the subsidiaries sector to ensure there is regular knowledge transfer and retention of best practice for the sustainability of the oil sector. Achievement and advancement of KBC strategy through common goals and shared objectives, aim at achieving the strategic vision of the organization as a whole and taking a big picture view and ensure that operational decision and employee movements serve the growth of the organization and development of individual talent. Harmonization, optimization, and integration to place organizational goals before individual preferences. Improving relationship with sister companies that have entered independent operations to improve efficiency, cost savings, and optimization of our value chain. Cultivation of oil sector leadership competencies, that is, demonstration of leadership behavior based on our 4 leadership competencies. Takes ownership, focus on people, drive performance, and creates integrated values. Endorsement of KBC values, promotion of KBC values of commitment to HSSE, customer satisfaction, honesty, integrity, transparency, innovation, and responsiveness. Motivating environment, quality and excellence, teamwork, and trust. Internal, external communication for a positive oil sector image. Promotion of a culture and projection of professional image, both inside and outside the organization, acting as a role model and coach for the younger generation, and demonstration of a socially responsible corporate citizen. And more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, from an HR perspective, we wish to promote the concept of Think A by working together, closer and smarter across the oil sector to develop our human capital, provide appropriate and timely opportunities for growth, attract and retain best talent, and become an employer of choice. In conclusion, I trust that there will be many similar discussions over the few days of the ASHRM's conference on common HR issues that we are all facing in the region. I wish you all the best and encourage you as HR professionals to make the best of these opportunities, as you will all play a significant role in defining the success of our respective businesses and economies in the future. And finally, having the enthusiasm shown by our representatives from the Kuwait oil sector and impressed by the commitment of ASHRM organizers, I would like to make a personal commitment to support the establishment of the ASHRM Kuwait chapter very soon, inshallah. Thank you. الله يسلمك طويل شوية شكرا الله يسلمك جزاك الله خير شوية طويل بس
Well done, Mr. Farouk. Thank you so much. Very enlightening speech. We will come back during the question answer session. We will address some of the interesting points he highlighted. Moving to the second keynote speaker we are having today, he's someone that if you don't know him, then you didn't know the HR in Abu Dhabi and UAE. 3 years back, as an ASHRM board members, we had a vision to grow and to truly start interconnecting the HR communities within the Gulf and the Arab countries as well. We've been averaging for the last 20 years around 300 members and wanted to grow and add our colleagues, male and female, national and foreigners, so that together we can share best practice, work together. We've grown up to 3,000. We've been able to open chapters. But back then, we wanted to search for the first potential chapter. And Abu Dhabi, when we came and started searching on the internet, every time we click HR and CEO, 70% of the click will have Ali Jarwan. To the extent that we thought at the beginning that he is an HR director or an HR CEO of an HR consultancy organization, something. We're getting closer and closer, we start realizing that he is really a very special person. He graduated with a bachelor degree, petroleum engineering. He worked through the ladder as an engineer, drilling engineer, petroleum engineer. He worked in the rigs, offshore, onshore. So when he came back and started growing through the management ladder, he has a full understanding of the challenges that the operation is in need. And now he's in charge and can make this HR organization under him deliver and work and partner with the needs of the organizations. He served as a Senior Vice President for Technology. Current position, he is the CEO of ADMA since 2006. He is well known in Abu Dhabi and UAE for many of HR initiatives. He's currently the chairman of SP Middle East and used to be the board member of the SP International. On your behalf, we welcome Mr. Ali Jarwan and would like to hear your speech.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Our distinguished guests, dear colleagues and friends, I'm very pleased basically to be here and to give you basically to shed the lights on the activities of the region in Abu Dhabi in particular, ADNOC, Abu Dhabi National Oil Company. And to give example, I will basically talk about my company, ADMA OPCO, similar to the other ADNOC group. And we are basically meeting or trying to meet this challenge of continuously increasing growth, demanding to build more production. Yes. So the challenge basically to move to the coming 5 years, where our production expected to double, both the oil and the gas, and the resources to do that also is doubling. To give you example, for the offshore rigs, we are increasing from 5 in my company only, not to mention the other companies, to 13 rigs in very short period of time. And conducting projects, mega projects. So the human resources is the most important thing. And it's good to notice that where we are now, we are operating 2 old fields, that's Moshe field and Zakum field, with 50 years old. And integrity management of all the asset is the challenge. While for the future, we are adding additional 3 fields. The new fields basically should be equipped with the latest technology, best design possible. So we are talking about 2 different things, plus the schedule to build a production. So the main challenge basically to spend the money, to spend it correctly, and to achieve excellence, because we will be like, we want to enter paradise after 5 years. So nothing except perfection or attempt to do perfect in our work. So that's why we adapted our journey toward excellence. And if we fail, we'll be slightly less than excellence. And excellence never be achieved. It is journey. So we are continuously improving our capabilities. And it is good to know that there is billions of dollars involved, you know, from the government and the shareholders. And by the way, our company basically is a shareholding JV. You know, 60% belong to Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, and the rest is divided between British Petroleum, Total, and Judco. So, and the due consideration have to be given also to the social responsibilities, to operate environmentally friendly, to protect the environment, to protect the sea around us, and air, and to have really good relationship with all governmental entities. And this is part of the challenge. But the main challenge is basically to manage the human resources, the intellectual asset who will deliver this one. It is the same message which was mentioned by Mr. Farouk Zenki. This is the main issue. And when I look into this group, I appreciate basically the differences in terms of gender, in terms of age, in terms of, I'm sure, experience. And I think all of us have certain segment of HR. I manage the company with basically paying maybe more than 60% on human resources, because I have to praise people. I have to be sure that we have the right competencies, and to think about basically future planning. What type of competency mixed? You know, it is a new area. We'd like to cope with the technology to be sure that we have competent automation engineer, which is new changes when we are talking about smart fields, and competent pipeline engineers to be sure that we manage all the, you know, integrity of all fields, and to avail resources in very difficult, you know, scarce and stretched market, if you like. We try to do the same. you know, most of the national oil company in Kuwait and Abu Dhabi and Saudi Aramco. So it is good to learn from each other how we do it. But for sure, retention is one of the most important things, to keep what you have, because you know our workforce is thinning from skills point of view. To give you example, the average age of the workforce in ADMA 10 years ago, it was 52 years. And now we try to maintain 40 years. It goes down to 39, 38, but this is, you know, red line for me to have basically the average age of the organization 40 by extending, you know, retention and recruiting people with qualified skills. So recruitment, retention, manpower planning will continue, you know, to be with us. Different way of training, innovative way to have opportunities of the shareholding companies. We have commitment that they have to train our, you know, colleagues, professionals, young professionals, especially, to be sure we are ready for this expansion, to operate it efficiently, and to take advantage of the expansion. If we have world-class EPC contractors, we will have our team. And sometimes they are managing, but you know, most of the time they are also developing themselves. And for now, we are having, you know, a couple of feed studies conducted by Flor, one of the world-class consultant feed engineer, and we have about 7 people from our young people working with the contractor team and challenging their, you know, senior team. And that's very good to have different flavor, because we would like to continue with the diversity. Although we have, you know, 60% UAE nationals, we'd like to build their capabilities, and we'd like to enjoy also the contribution and the skills of all our colleagues within the company or outside. This is very important.